And the first thing I want to know, we could have done this without it, but it's good to hear everybody anyway on a recording, is I want to know one thing that you're proud of for your business this month, this week. Could be 5 seconds ago. It doesn't have to be anything, just anything, literally anything you are proud of. And think of that. And then Sherry, you can type if you need to. Okay. Anybody want to share one? Shara said, helping Ashley get the vision again. Yes. Oh my gosh. Her and on the call the other night, I was like, or last night, I was proud to see her. That was so amazing.
She was supposed to get on right now with us, but she had her one of her sons came over and she wasn't expecting.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And we'll talk about those things here soon because Genevieve kind of brought that stuff up too. So I'll let you know about that, but that's definitely excusable. I mean, yeah. Okay. One thing you're proud of in your business this month so far. It could be anything.
Stepped out of my comfort zone again and started asking people to join the DPUF in person, like face to face, like getting in their faces, even giving out samples of the E's pill to see if they can stomach them. So that's what I did.
Look at you. How many do you have in the group?
Ooh, and then so just the 2 so far. I'm still trying to get that third one in. Yeah.
Okay. Don't say just. I have 2. That's huge.
I have 2.
There you go. There you go. And possibly a third. It's okay.
Possibly a third.
That's awesome. Okay, who else? And Hannah, I obviously just got your message. I just looked over, so.
I'm proud of my team for stepping up and getting so many people signed up.
Yeah.
So
And
that's been cool.
Yeah, I like that they've already caught the vision so quickly. And you guys, like, how we learn is by gleaming from others and what their teams are doing. You know, obviously you have to take a step back and be like, okay, but how can I use that for my team? We have to also have discernment as well. But a lot of hers started because every single one that she has on fire posting and stuff now, she did an event for. And so it really catches that when you get that event within 24 to 36 hours, I really think that might have been her key on why she has people so fired up and sharing and excited about the business, and some now coming to convention. So just crazy. Yeah. So I think that those are key, getting those events going. Even if you haven't done them, you know, go back to it and get back into that. Okay, anybody else really quick? And then I'm gonna dive on in. It's really good. If you can, Hannah, if you've gotten anything. If not, it's totally fine. I know she's busy with girlies. Okay, so one thing we need to think about is when we are proud about our business, it really can look like anything. And you just heard of several different styles of how we could be proud of, you know, share a casting vision with somebody that, you know, had to take a step back for a little bit. And now she's excited and going again, you know, and Patricia always in people's faces. And she's really good with that one-on-one personal touch. And so getting that going and everything, you know, Julia casting that vision and it trickling down, that ripple effect because of the events that she did. So the thing with the winning day that Genevieve was talking about today was like success can sometimes look like a bunch of boring things attached together in one single day. Like they really could look like a bunch of boring things like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this and this. She said, but every day, over time, it will gain you a lot more people, a lot more transformations, and a lot more things on your list. And she said, a lot of you are about to quit right now. And I was like, she's like, if you think of it, in the middle of the month, that's when people lose their momentum. They're like, you know what? My goals aren't going to happen. It's already the 19th. I'm just going to stop. There's no way that that's going to happen. She said, in the middle of the month, you really have to pour in belief again into yourself, into your team. And y'all, you guys have a team, and pour into your team too, because if you're feeling that, they're feeling that. And so always pouring in that, like, okay, right now, I feel like I want to quit, but what can I do to change that thinking? She said, a lot of you might be also looking like, what's the sparkly thing over there that maybe I'm missing and I'm not doing? Or maybe it's this we've got to do, or another event, or another group challenge, or another XYZ. She's like, everybody keeps looking for the sparkly things, but they never want to do the mundane, boring things that also create success. She said, she said, you look at the sparkly things because things aren't moving fast enough. So you're like, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? So if you're like, maybe it's a messenger event, maybe we need to do another steal the deal. I'm just adding what we do. She's like, sometimes you just have to get back to realizing it's all in the winning day. She said, yes, success is a bunch of boring things over time, but boredom is just an obstacle, and it can also be an excuse. But if you're having success, you wouldn't think that it was boring or an excuse, would you? If you kept seeing success by doing the boredom thing. She said, yes, your job is checklist oriented. We all know the toughest jobs are truly procedures that people follow every single day. Those procedures are so important that even at the highest level, they don't leave it any chance that you will remember to do the things that you're going to do to leave your business going in the right direction. She said, most people will be like, oh yeah, I'll remember to do that later. Or, oh yeah. And again, I when she was saying this, I was like, oh, she's like, you've got to make it so business oriented. That is a daily checklist that you're doing. She's like, if you think your team will remember, they won't. And so this is for all of us. Like, we are a leader on this team and on this call. And so we have a team because of it. So you have to make sure if you're not remembering it, your team's not remembering it, and always continually reminding of every single event, because the winning day on our sheet is to invite them to the next thing that Plexus offers, the next thing. And so we all know we have Y Plexus events. Those are every Tuesday, Thursday. There's a great opportunity. We don't need more events. Plexus is giving us so much. We really need to tap into those. And I'll get into book club here in a little bit too, because that's something else that we're going to just tap into. And we're going to start using more Plexus because they're pouring so much money into that. Why aren't we utilizing it? So the next thing is to make sure that everything you're doing is inviting every potential, every fence sitter, every ambassador, every VIP, because when they are a VIP or an ambassador, they're gaining access. They already have they're getting access to everything that we are offered. So we need to make sure we're offering that to them all the time, not thinking we're going to overwhelm them, not thinking that maybe they don't want to hear it. She said, you have to do the ask. Do the ask. Have you asked? She said, oh, okay. So procedures, how it's a checklist thing. She's like, and we talked about the airplane thing last week, and it's the exact same thing this week. She said, think about it. When you pull into the airplane, you walk on the airplane, you look into the cockpit, you see the captain. He's usually what? He has a binder out, or he's doing checklists to make sure, okay, looks like we got gasoline, looks like all these buttons are checked. He's like, that they're doing the mundane, boring things they have to do every single flight, every single time they leave, every single time they land. It is the boring, mundane checklist. But could you imagine if they didn't do that, and then they might have missed something, or they might have forgot something, how crucial and critical that could be for that air flight, or, all those people that are on there because they thought they'll remember, or they thought that they'll just get it done later. And she's like, could you imagine the toughest jobs are checklist oriented? And that's exactly our job. Ours is checklist oriented. If we do the checklists on our winning day, success can happen, and it will happen. And she said, I bet if I looked at every single one of y'all's winning days, I could find instantly where your weak point is and what you're doing or not doing, and why you are having success or why you're not having success. And I was like, ooh, all right. And she said, think of it like a surgeon. If the surgeon walked in and forgot his gloves, the infection that can happen in that surgery, or if, they always count their tools as they're in there and making sure that they have all 20 or whatever. She's like, could you imagine if they were like, oh yeah, I think that was 19, not 20. And then they had to go to another surgery. She's like, we can't do the forgets. When somebody forgets, it could be crucial and critical for that person. So making sure your winning day is your checklist, and it's something you do every single day, because when you do, success renders and it happens. Yes, it can be boring, but it is a contained system of success. And you as a leader are needing to go back to that often, not other things, not the shiny, sparkly things that other people or other teams are doing. She said the winning day is the cure-all. This can be cured by going back every single time when you feel like something isn't going right. Look at your winning day and see what's lacking. If you're not where you want to be, look at your winning day and figure out where you're lacking. What maybe are you missing, or what could you do more of, or what little things could you tweak in that winning day? She said, so 350 people were on the book club. That doesn't count the people that might have watched the live on Facebook. These are 350 people that registered to watch the book club and were live on the Zoom. She said, that's not enough for how much she's like, if you only knew how much they're spending on all these top New York selling people that are doing all these book clubs, you would be astonished, and you would be making sure you would have at least 2 people every single time we have a book club. And so she challenged us. She's like, you have to realize these are not just for you. These are for your team members. These are for your brand new VIPs. She's like, do not exclude them. She's like, most of these things, yes, they could be business oriented, but they could truly be more than that. If they're already in a business, they can carry into some of what we're learning and use that for what they're doing in their life, for their marriage or anything. So I want to know, a show of hands, who has listened to all of the book club the other day? All of it. Okay. All right. So who is going to raise their hand that they're going to watch the rest of the book club by tomorrow?
Are you talking about the book club that you're doing on Monday?
No.
Okay.
This is the one that I kept
You're
sharing.
the one on Saturdays.
Yes, the one on Saturday.
Okay.
That was with Rory. It was Take the Stairs. That
Okay.
one.
Okay.
So we're all going to be on it. But the biggest thing is, because we are all leaders, is to make sure that now you're inviting every single VIP. Do not exclude anybody. And I'll go into why and what her remedy was for that, because we can always do excuses or why that person doesn't need to be on there, but that can be their terms, not ours. And so she said, Plexus is offering these things. She's like, you can invite people from other companies. She's like, I do not care, because if they're seeing what Plexus has to offer, we never know what that could do, or just help them in general. She said it can help marriages. It can help, them with raising their kids. We don't know what that leadership growth could look like for them by attending these calls. So she said, encouraged us to really push to have, and then make sure that several people watch that, and any of your new people to go back and watch it, because it's on the Plexus ambassador page, so they can watch that recording. But here's the kicker, you guys. So she asked who all attended, but who all watched it live. And she said something is happening in the process of attending those live. She said, with everybody, how many like to watch live things? You don't watch recordings that very often, right? You like to see something when it's in live action. Most of us sometimes like, oh yeah, there's that video, I got to go watch. It is a lot harder for us to go rewatch a recording than it is to watch a live. And she's like, there's something missing in the process of not getting on all these live calls that Plexus has to offer. And we have to get better at that, especially book club. We can always pick and choose where we're at. We don't need to have me train you on something when, let's say, Jenna Hootla or whoever did a training call on Monday night, and maybe it's on the exact thing that you need to hear, or Ashley needs to hear, or Hannah needs to hear, or any of us need to hear. Plexus is offering those and having top jewels and top diamonds, reach out and share those things. She's like, utilize those more often, especially live. She said, I know, here's the excuses. She's like, I'm going to hear every excuse from you guys. She's like, I know it's Saturday mornings. I know that you have things happening on Saturday mornings. I know it might be early for you. I know that you can watch the recording, but how many are you actually going to carve out the time to watch it later? And that's why I asked how many of us have watched it, because here we are on Tuesday. I mean, again, I'm not trying to, she did this to us. So I'm just repeating what she said. She's like, how many of you watched it? And we all were like, we saw several people that hadn't even watched it yet, not even 5 minutes of it yet. She said, because it's a lot harder for you to carve out the time when you don't watch it live. She said, so, you're at your kids' soccer games or whatever. She's like, put it in and you watch it then on. And can't do it by tomorrow, but can tomorrow evening. Okay. And she's like, you put it in your ear and you watch. She's like, I totally get it if your kid's in the Olympics, or if your kid is, there's another reason why you can't watch it or be present watching it live, but to watch it live is a lot better. And because then your team is going to see that you're watching it live too. And that sets the precedence as you as a leader, not just me, you as a leader, to be on that. And then having that person, let's say I invited Stephanie, one of my new girls, and I'm not on that call, but she is. What is that going to look like to her too? And she's like, well, hey, I was on there. Why weren't you on there? And so we have to set that precedence of being on every single call. If we are in growth mode, this is where she got me. She's like, if you're in growth mode and you really want to grow in this business, you're going to show up to every opportunity call that that is going to grow you. She said, always inviting people to the next event. And the book clubs are the big next events. Of course, we have the Why Plexus, we have the Monday motivations and whatever. And right now I could tell you, or you could tell me exactly who that needs to be on certain calls, making sure that you're inviting those people to those calls or what's going to be key. And all of those, we have a calendar in our back office. If you type in the help center and look up calendar, it's all there. Every single call, who's leading. I mean, you can go to the Plexus Ambassador page too. Every call is laid out there. So if you want to get ahead of time and know what's coming, it's there. I already talked about that. Oh. So she said every single posse member, which is you guys, she's like, every posse member of yours needs to make a requirement to watch that book club and to get the book if you can. I do not have the book yet. It is on my list on my Audible because he brought the house down, like in a way that no book club person has done yet. And I really don't just mean that. Like last month's was okay. I watched it. It was with Caroline Leith. It was the Brain Girl. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite, to be honest, but I was on. I watched it live and I was like, dang, for somebody to be, and this sounds really horrible, for somebody to be that high up, she just wasn't in her element. She just wasn't there. And I know we all have moments like that. It just was off. But now Rory, this guy that was just Saturday, he brought the game, y'all. He was like, are you a cow or a buffalo? Are you like, I'm telling you, I'm not going to give it all away. Go watch it. And then you're going to be like, Cassie, now I know why you wanted me to watch it. Now I know why you kept pushing it down my throat. So make book club priority. It is the third Saturday of every single month. So start carving out those Saturdays every single month. The next one is already coming up and I'll tell you what the next one is. The next book club is Grow with Goals and it's going to be on the 21st. So our team, we're just going to start using Plexus stuff. Like, yes, we have the 21 laws. We don't need the book for that. We're just watching a recording. But we're going to start diving into these book clubs every single month because why not? Why aren't we using what Plexus has to offer? Don't get me wrong. I think that the 21 laws was a great spot for what we need right now as a team. But from here on, unless we need to tweak, we're just going to dive into what Plexus has to offer, because if they're spending hundreds and thousands of dollars for one person to come on a Saturday for an hour, We all should be on it and having every single person be on there too. Okay, so success leaves clues. She said, you're going to have the wannabes and the strivers and the strivers. And she's like, which one are you? Are you the one that success leaves clues? Are you the one, the wannabes? Or are you the strivers? So it was pretty funny. We all were like, what? She's like, you're going to see. Well, I'll find time to listen, or I'll try, or I'll get things done later, or, you know, all these things. She's like, you're going to find what your internal motivation is. Are you a wannabe, a striver, or a success one that leaves clues and getting things done? She's like, y'all, Celeste Gwen was on the call on the book club. She's like, Celeste is the top earner in the company. Do you think she needs to be on these calls? Or do you think she needs to be? No. But she texted Genevieve after and she said, Genevieve, I just love these calls so much because I love personal development. Because Genevieve asked her, why are you even coming to them? Like, you don't need it, obviously. She's like, I just love it. You guys offer great things. And why wouldn't I be on there? And so if Genevieve can show up, we can show up. And so that was huge to see, you know, so if you're seeing all these jewels and stuff pop in on there, we can do that too. And she said, it's such a missed opportunity that we're not using. And that is everything. You know, look at the Y plexus calls. Me too. I have forgotten to remind everybody when those are, but those are huge, huge opportunities to plug people into. Our fence sitters, our brand new people that just need to hear more testimonies. Instead of tagging them into things, hello, a live testimony is much more valuable than a written one sometimes, right? And so those events are huge to plug anybody into. So we need to normalize doing the winning day every single day and getting everyone on every single call that we have to offer. She said prospects again, VIPs, anybody. So get that in your head that literally every single person could be on here. She said, because where you think we are struggling as she asked where we were struggling as a leadership team on calls. Like, you know, where she was asking like, why are we not making this as important as it truly is? So she was asking us like, what do you guys think the hang up is? And I don't think there's a true hang up. I think it's more of, there are awesome, great calls all the time. We just have to get better of knowing when they are and trickling that down and creating that opportunity for everybody. Because it could be a huge retention tool. So she said, you will see a huge retention increase. That means keeping your people when you add them to community. We all know this. I mean, look at Julia's people. They're added to the silver thread, and I'm getting messages all the time from them. And I love it because they're thriving into that. They are in the depuff and they're commenting and sharing and all these things. That's like, we all crave community. And so your person, you might be, you know, shoving off that like, oh, they just want to take the product, or they don't want anything else but that. They might be striving for that community. And if you're not doing the ask and asking them, then we're missing out on an amazing opportunity for them to be transformed. So here's what she said. This is huge for me. We need to cross the line from transactional to transformational. Say that again. We need to cross the line from transactional. That means getting them to get their order in. Okay, great. You got your order in. I'll check on you in about a week or in 3 days, right? That's transactional. We are in a business of transformation. She says, when you get past that and it's relational as well, your business is going to blossom. She's like, I want you to think about this. We are signing up a bunch of people that are trying to get better in their health, and they have issues, or maybe they have lack of discipline and have a certain way of thinking of how to eat or how to sleep or how to exercise. And we are trying to transform their lives. Are you going to transform their lives by just taking these products? Possibly. How else are you going to transform their lives? And she said, the only way to transform their lives is getting them into community, helping them see bigger results, helping them see more of what they just signed up for. You will not have people turning off their subscriptions or leaving if they feel connected and they are a part of you and this company. This is one way for that, is inviting them to all these events that we have. That's even convention, y'all. Like, don't leave anybody out for convention either. So again, I'm going to say this again, you will not have people turning off, more than likely turning off their subscriptions if they feel plugged into more than something than just you, more about the company and more about everybody else as well and what we have to offer. She said, I just want you to know, here's another thing. So I wrote down what she said. Like, let's say I'm talking to Hannah. I just want to let you know that we have this book club. Most of the time it's business related, but most of the time it's super personal development growth, and it's growth related. And even if there's a little bit of business, it could really help in your work circumstances. But I just want to make sure that I get you invited to this call because it could help you with your health transformation. And it really could. You don't know what they're lacking. They're not going to tell you everything, right? So you have to do the ask. How is your ask? And so making sure that you're doing your ask. We all have to be able to tie into this, and not this that we're just going to bother them with too many other things. We're just going to keep bothering them with, or overwhelming them by all the things that Plexus has to offer. She's like, when you feel that way, you have to go back to the winning day, and you have to get micro commitments from people, not full commitments. Like, hey, you know, there's this great book club coming up. It's once a month. I'd love to have you on. Or, hey, there was one the other day, and it hit home, and a lot of things in areas for me, even my parenting, I would love for you to go and take a look at it. It's something that your membership actually gets for free. Would you like me to tag you in that video? And you can watch it, you know, when you get a chance. Super simple. She said, the thing with this is that we're casting a wide net. You know, we can definitely grab a, you know, person here and there, right? But when we have all these events, we're casting a wide net so that who knows what fish might come in and be like, oh my gosh, that book club, or that Y Plexus testimonial, or that Monday motivation call that I just listened to was phenomenal. You know, when's the next one? And then plugging in them. If you sing in our silver thread, that Cindy Howard is on almost every single call. And she is diving into those, and she just started. And so because she's already feeling a part of more community, she's doing more things. And so really do the ask, you guys, because you want a wide net when you're talking to people and having them attend. There's no commitment. She said, the hope is to cast a wider net to people. She said, the last thing that we want is for Plexus to look hard for people. It's all about each person. So don't assume or don't ask because you think people can't handle all the things that Plexus has to offer. She said, some won't even be bothered by it. They're like, oh, okay, there's another call. Okay, great. I'll try to get on. So plugging people into what you feel like they need leveraged in, and you all guys know which each person is. You just have to make sure you're asking. So leverage the calls that you have at hand, so that you have less work on your hands. Again, book club is every third week, every third Saturday of the month. She's like, if you need motivation, get on the daily calls, get on the motivation calls. She said, VIPs are paying for that community. Make sure they're on it. They get to hear from, and we talked about that. She said, don't sell easy. And this is what Rory said. I'm telling you, I'm not going to give you everything because he's he was really good. Said, don't make it and make this business look easy, because it's not. It's growth points. It's growth pains. They're going to learn things that they might not have wanted to uncover, but could you imagine the success that can come from outside of that? And if you're showing them what success and what this can look like, and they're still hanging on, they still want to learn more, and that's where you need to be focusing on. It's like, don't make it sound easy. Like, oh, guess what? Yes, I'll do all the things for you, and don't worry about it. It's going to be super simple, super easy. And I know that hit hard for me because I was doing that for so long when we were doing all the events. And it is, we do make it as simple as possible for that person, but then it's back in our hands if we're not helping them do the same thing and trickle that down. So we have to let them start doing that, because if not, then they're not going to learn and keep growing and leading in that way either, if we are always doing the things. So far, do y'all have any questions? I'm almost done. I talked about this at the beginning, but it was so true. She's like, as a leader, your presence matters. When you're on calls, your presence matters because your team sees that. They see what is important to you. Yes, we have family. Those things are important. So carve out the calls that are important and making sure, like, if I have a brand newbie person coming on a call, I'm going to carve out that time and sneak away if I can, or have my earbud and listen. She said that your goals is to get on a live with a guest all the time. It's not, she said, yes, you can listen when there is time, but could you imagine when you're alive and the people seeing you? And we all know what lives do. I mean, it's just like reality shows. Reality shows were great for how long they still are, because you feel like you're watching it live and what's happening. And even though it's fake half the time, but you know what I mean? But Genevieve hit hard on that, because it's, why aren't we utilizing all these things? Well, literally, I feel like a lot of us were like, okay, what is that team doing that we need to do? Or this is the one thing I've really liked about Genevieve's coaching, is it's really making it simple of like, why aren't we doing what Plexus is offering? Yeah, all these other teams are doing other great things, and they're doing all these wonderful, shiny things that might be working for them. But if we narrowed it down to just the winning day checklist and then offering them to the next Plexus event, could you imagine how simple that would be for them to do? Because if you're putting too much more on your plate, how do you feel like your leaders are going to be then when they start rising up and then they feel like they got to do all these things too? So we're not setting a good tone that way either. And so the Genevieve training that I'm hearing and loving, I wish I'd have gotten 6 years ago, because, well, 6 years ago, we didn't have all this. I will be honest. We didn't have phone calls. We didn't have Plexus calls. We didn't have motivational Monday calls or training calls. We had none of that. We had these dialing phone number. Literally, we had a phone number we could call in, and we had this checklist, and we could listen to recordings of Diamond, Jen Hawkins talks about her story here. And we would dial in and listen to that recording. That was 6 years ago. And now it's like constant stuff that is live all the time. So we just have to start diving into that. So tell me your takeaways on all of that really quick. And then we have a few more things.
I want to get into more of the habit of utilizing the Why Plexus, Why Now calls. Those are like, every time I'm on one, it just motivates me. And so I always think, oh, I wish I had more people on here. So I need to get a good way to get people to commit to doing that. I think part of it is time frame. Obviously the ones in the middle of the day aren't always very convenient for people who work during the daytime, but I definitely like that idea and adding that into my stuff.
Because it makes it easier for you too. And you'd be like, hey, well, don't worry. The next one is Thursday,
I put it in the chat. I received an email, which most of y'all probably did too, but
Wednesdays.
It's Wednesday.
Gotcha.
It's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays starting today at 6 o'clock Arizona time.
So 8. So 8
Until
hour time.
August, I think it said.
That's
it's 7. It's 7, right?
No, it's 8. It's 2 hours.
It was 2 hours, but then with the time change, I thought it went to 1 hour. That's why everybody was missing that call.
I know, not now. It's 2 hours, because with Genevieve, with ours went back. Either way, it's 2, because I had to look up, like, if I looked up what Arizona time was right now, it's 2 hours. And I'll do it really quick just to double check, because I don't want to make that wrong again. Arizona time now.
Yeah, because I was thinking it went.
Yep, 7:42. I did too, and that's why I get so confused on daggum time changes and
Last month, just 1 hour, because Winter was in Arizona with her senior class. So I wonder why it changed within 1 month. The time change.
It maybe it was where, because right now it says it's 7:42 in Arizona right now. So I have no idea, girl. This is why I don't like time change, because I can never keep up with when it is, what time, what's central, and I mean, I know ours, but like all the others, it's so annoying and confusing.
I heard that one of the higher up government platforms has voted not to keep doing time changes. So after next year, I hope that's true.
Oh man, that would be amazing. Could you imagine? That would be awesome. Okay. Yes, the Y plexus stuff for sure. Hey, Julia, what you just shared, can you put that in our winning day too?
Yep.
Thank you. Because I feel like I think that one is very underutilized, and I like that they've added another day, because for a while they were only doing Tuesday, Thursday, because a lot of people weren't utilizing them enough. And so they're not going to keep offering things if they aren't. So now they're trying, I guess they added in Wednesday again. So I'm excited about that. So just know most of those people that are on, and we never know who's coming. Like sometimes I find out a few hours before, where they're like, hey, I'm sharing. And so I'm like, okay, tell me your testimony, or they'll tell us really quick. And if they're in our Genevieve group, but other than that, I normally don't know who it is. But I will tell you, I've not been on a lot of them where I wasn't very, very impressed of how they presented their story and then shared very lightly about the business at the end. Okay, Rachel said, I'm going to start listening to book clubs. Yes.
I was just going to say, I think there are multiple different things to take away from what you were saying, but I can't retain them tonight. I'm struggling. So there's a lot that you had said that I was like, oh yeah, I need to do that. But right now I cannot recall them at the moment.
Okay, you worked late
Sorry.
last night, and I don't think you slept very much. The biggest takeaway for me, you guys, was the checklist oriented. And so when she said, if you think of a flight attendant, he does the mundane things, but could you imagine if he didn't have that checklist in front of him every single time he flew off? If he forgot something, it would be catastrophic. And so I think of it like Plexus perks. Think of the people that are losing, sometimes I see $500. They don't even know what Plexus perks is, but when I reach out to them, those little things that could be catastrophic for that person, that's $500, or it could be even $100. So
I had something just like that tonight. I had a gal that had messaged me that had did my 60-day challenge thing and was like, I don't think I'm going to keep doing all of the products. I don't really use all of them. And she's like, can you cancel my subscription and I'll still order some? And so I got in there and I was looking at it and he said, you have 350 Plexus perks. I said, that could get you this, and this, plus others if you want to look at it. And she was like, oh, well, maybe. So she decided she was going to order one more month's worth and then add her Plexus perks to it, and then probably just decrease it down to the products that she's using.
Well, and for somebody like that though, Julia, too, so they don't opt out of the program, they could order every other month in a lump sum. So all they have to do is just every month, because there's no way to do every other month unless they manually go in and move it. So every month she'll have to move it, but she can do every other month and not lose out on any of those perks. So there's an option.
Good to know.
Hey, Julia, did you get that schedule that you just posted at Winning Day today?
Yes, that was on Jessica Heffley's page.
Okay, because the email I got didn't mention anything about the daytime. It just mentioned the one time. Just wanted to check.
Yeah, I'll make sure. I mean, but it was just something she posted not too terribly long ago.
Okay.
The email said it was updated today.
And Jessica might have missed it too. So we'll check it, because the last thing
I could be wrong, but that's all my email said.
Okay. I'll double check, and I'll ask I'll ask my coach and have him confirm. I'll share that graphic with him.
On her page, it does say that it was posted a few days ago. So I thought it was a post from today, but it was something else that she posted today. And then that Why Plexus Why Now event was right under that one. So that was from a few days ago. So I'm guessing, Shara, yours is probably more up to date.
Yeah, my also just said 6 o'clock Arizona time with the days.
So they're not doing the daytime ones now, just the nighttime ones?
I'm going to
I
confirm.
only saw the,
Okay.
I'm asking my coach now, and I'm just, I say, are these times correct? So I'll find out and let everybody know. Okay. So Julia, Patricia, Shara, which I know some of us have already watched, Hannah, Rachel, I am going to watch the book club by tomorrow night with Rory going towards the stairs or whatever.
I'm going to watch the book club by tomorrow night.
Perfect. Okay. And then the next thing is I want to hear where everybody's at, because like I said in the beginning of this call, usually about the middle of the month right now, you're like, it's not going to happen, Cassie. I've done XYZ, but like Genevieve said, we could all narrow down our winning day checklist. And she's like, I could highlight where maybe you're lacking, or maybe you're missing, or maybe you weren't doing. And that's where we just have to go back to, is just go back to the winning day. So I want to know, where's everybody at on how many orders they need to hit their goals? Because that rise up, rank up is huge this month. And somebody, okay. And then the other thing is, a lot of us on this call, we have a lot of older people that have been on our teams for a long time. And so look down and see who you can help go silver, who you can help re-rank silver. Those bonuses are huge. So you got to do the ask. How's your ask on that too? So tell me where everybody is at on all of that. And it's okay if you're lacking and you need to start now. It's better to start now.
I feel like my ask is awkward. I mean, I'm trying to perfect it, but I'm not quite sure. Like, I feel like there's multiple asks.
Yeah.
And different, whatever it is that you're trying to do for people,
And that's very true. So like for somebody brand new, there was a new girl that I hadn't connected with, and I got into a 3-way. And so that conversation hadn't come up yet. And so I leveraged it, because Genevieve says you have to do the ask, because they can tell you no, and that's okay. Because most people will tell you, well, she doesn't want the business, or she doesn't want that at all. And you're like, well, how did that come up? Or maybe she just thinks in her mind she has to do what you're doing, and they don't. I could tell you the emails that I got just now. I bought the kids clothes, and it was like, here's a referral link that you can share with your friends for an extra 10% off. And it's like, that is everywhere now. So leveraging it that way and say, oh, share it. That's not at all. You don't have to do that. I just want you to let you know that your referral link, that when you joined, and that referral link that you have is just like anything you've ever had. And the last thing that we want is finances to get in the way of your health journey. And so this just makes it simple, and so that you can help get your products paid for. And that's it. Would you like me to help you do that? Make it I feel like the more confident you are about it, and the more simple you make it, less is more. They won't feel like they have to do this and be on all the team calls and be in the posse group and be on the winning day. They don't need any of that. The biggest thing is helping them get their 3, and then plugging them into community. And then if it takes off from there, great. If not, that's okay. So
I feel like using the terms referral link or help somebody get started works better than, hey, try to add one. That just sounds like, oh, you just want to add, instead of, hey, let's help somebody get started. I've been screenshotting stuff like you just got, because I get them all the time. So I can be like, look, it's just like this, where you can get $10 off if you refer a person. I get it every month from my mortgage company.
see, and I think that's why Plexus leveraged this, is because it's universal now. Like everybody is doing it. And so we just have to tap into that, and using it with that simple wording. And again, all of us are learning as we go. There are things we've done that we're like, crap, why did I do that? I mean, I've gone back, and I kind of wish it wouldn't notify people when you've unsent a message, because apparently it does that now. Because I went back to one girl, and I'm like, I cannot believe I said that. And I hit unsend, and she immediately looked at the message, and I'm like, oh, so now like she saw I unsent a message, And I hadn't even send a new one yet, anyway. So we've all done the crazy bad ones. Mine was like, I'm trying to earn a cruise. Will you help me? Like that kind of stuff, y'all. So just saying. Okay. Anything else that stood out to you guys? Again, mine was the checklist. I thought that was a big, like, of course, the book club, but. Shara, you're 38 orders away, plus add 1 to get a bonus because you added 1, right? No, you have to add 1 to get your bonus. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Still time. It's only the 19th, y'all.
I think Ashley is adding 1. She's tried for the last couple of days. They keep having issues. She puts her credit card in. It says something's wrong with her credit card, or her debit card. But she's like, I have money in there and everything. So that's actually who's at her house right now. So I was like, hey, log in.
Yeah.
Help them.
Holler at me if
And
there's still issues. And then we can see.
And it's her son. So it's even like, yeah. Even,
awesome.
She's passing it on.
I'm so ready for that. I keep trying with the girls and the girls could care less right now. They're like, Mom, we don't want to do what you do. So anyway.
Oh, they'll get there.
Oh, I know. I'm praying for it. And I'm like, but all the horses and everything that you're wanting, how are you going to have a full-time job to do all of that? So I'm like, anyway. Oh.
Cassie, the girl that I thought I was going to sign up, she just emailed me right now. I just saw the message pop up. She's like, I just want to confirm the promo code still works. I'm going to order tomorrow. I'm like, I've never met this girl. She's that referral.
See,
Woohoo!
that's amazing. And so tell everybody how you did that. That's a referral from somebody else, right?
Okay, yeah. So my girl, she says, she's all petty. She goes, my friend is looking for plexus. And I said, she's like, I tagged you in a post. So then I said, so I go, okay, thank you. So I went to look for the post, but I couldn't find it. So then I get a message from this girl and she says, hi, she says, I'm so-and-so's friend. She says, she let me know that you sell plexus. I said, well, I use it. I said, yes. I said, I do. I said, have you tried it before? Have you heard of it? And she says, years ago. She says, I've tried it years ago. I said, oh, okay. I said, what were your main goals? What were your health goals? So we were just doing the small talk, but on the side, I was asking my friend, I'm like, look, I go, you can get like money right now. I said, you don't want to use your referral code, da, da, da. She's like, no, I don't want to. She's like, I have enough on my plate right now. I'd have to look for it. And she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to do it at all. So I go, okay, just double checking. So I continued with this girl. So I just let her know, yeah, you can do the SAM 2020. And I was giving her all this information. I left her voice messages as well. So I try to be as authentic as I could, just without even knowing her. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna order next week. So yeah, so she's gonna order tomorrow.
See, and that's what's so good about asking for referrals too. I mean, you can do it in a simple way, like, hey, Julia, if you know anybody, we would love to be able to help them and help them on this health journey too. Does anybody come to mind? Like, how simple is that? Does anybody come to mind?
Do you, whenever you talk to people about that, Cass, do you normally say anything to them? So obviously you bring up the sharing and the, that sort of thing for themselves. But then if they say that they're not wanting to do that, or that's not their thing, do you just automatically say, well, if you know of anybody, send them my way? And
yeah, I found when I say it that way, they're like, sure, when somebody comes up, like, it's like a nonchalant, like, nah, I'll remember that when I think about it kind of thing.
yeah.
But I try to do an event then at some point and be like, I completely understand. I was right where you are. What if we did, because you never know who in your network could be praying for answers right now. So I know that you don't want to do that, but what if we did, or I did an event for you, and this way the people that might be needing or the people that could be looking for answers right now, they're in your network. I might be able to help. Could I possibly do an event for you Thursday night at 8 p.m. so that we can possibly help those people? And you could make it to where it's more you. She's just inviting those people and you're going to take over kind of thing. I feel like we never want finances to get in the way of your health journey is for everybody, but then it breaks down to different conversations with each person because you're going to know that person and where to lead that conversation or not. Like there's some, I know I can be a lot more straightforward and be like, girl, we're going to do an event tomorrow night. You free? 8 p.m. Okay, great. You know, and then there's some that it's like, okay, well, and then it's just going to be a lot more conversational. If you guys are not following Bob Heilig on Instagram, he's dropped some bombs lately on how we are missing the mark when we're trying to be too relational and not actually selling our product. And I was like, oh, and then he broke down why. So if you're not following, it was just the other day, he posted and said why. So I don't want to give it away, but go watch some of his stuff and follow him on Instagram if you're not, because it was a bombshell for me when he's just like, you're too relational. And then you're taking all this time instead of selling your product. Like you're here to sell a product too, not just, I mean, yes, you're here to make, friends. I won't give it away. Anyway, just go watch it. It was good. But yeah, I feel like every conversation is so different. So it just depends. But I mean, literally as they sign up, I'm saying every single person on our team, we help get their products paid for. And so that finances never get in the way of their health journey. And then I lead into that, every single person. So, okay. So I need to know, I've got Shara's orders. Where is everybody else at? So Shara, you have 38 plus 1. And then Patricia, Hannah, and Joya, do you know where you're at as of today? If you logged into your virtual office, where your point's at, and then how many more you need to hit your goal?
I have 32 points, I think. I saw it this morning.
Yes,
Okay.
good evening,
So,
everyone.
I still need 100, so I still need like
Where Rita Cost
15?
Marathon, Dr.
No.
Steve. I had the opportunity to read in the third grade class with Miss Short.
I
And
needed
wanted to
16 before. I'm not sure if I still need the 16.
letters. We have pretty good pen. So
You need
I have
14.
14.
Across the them and reading a story to them. I also want to say I went to the high school to the
But I am at 500 PV.
such a good idea that they have the
See, and that's another thing that we all need to be watching all of our teams. Because if they're that close, that is huge for even more income coming in.
Select whatever they want. They have purses, they have shoes.
Good job, girl. Okay, 14 orders. Shara is 38. All right, Julia and Hannah, do you guys know where you're at yet? And then if you don't, in our thread, I shared how you can rank up, and there was messages and stuff that Carissa, we reposted. If you're not in her text message, for some reason, Androids won't take in her text message. I don't know why. So I try to convey what I can into ours if she shares something really good. So
I'm trying to add it up right now. So give me
Okay.
a second. I had it earlier. I had it all added up, and I must have deleted my calendar or my calculator. So I'm not sure where it went.
okay.
So I'm not doing like the super big goal this month, more tangible. So 4 from that one.
Do what? Say that again.
34,
34 orders. And what is that to?
400.
Okay, can I ask why not? If you're only 100 more points away to Ruby, what's your
Well,
expectation on
I'm
that?
just,
Do what?
I mean, you could add the rest into 500, but I'm like not even gotten close to 400. So I'm trying to step it up to there.
Have you looked
I'm
at?
not gonna.
Go ahead.
Obviously, I wouldn't stop or anything like that. I just like to meet that goal.
Okay. The next step is to look at, because you have Shara, but look at anybody else that you can help re-rank and share the income possibility for them if they've ever hit silver, if they've ever hit gold, and really share with them, because that could really help leverage that in helping you re-rank to that ruby too. So look back in your virtual office and kind of see how I do that is do team points and look at last month, or even just go to highest paid rank. If you click on any of those, you might have a lot of silvers you might be able to bring back.
Yeah.
So there's another opportunity. Okay. So 34 to 400, if not, there's only 10 more, I think, to go to.
I put mine in the chat. I have 39 to be able to rank ruby.
Okay. Got it. So pretty much everybody needs in the 30s. So well, Patricia, you need 14, but still everybody's about in the 30s. So just I think the biggest thing is, like Genevieve said, look back at your winning day. What can you tweak in your winning day? What are you not leveraging? Look at it, see what you're not doing or what you could do more of. Don't look at all the shiny other things. Really just go back to the checklist and really stick to the checklist, nothing else. And so when you're looking at that checklist, it's really like, okay, well, when I'm following up in that 30 to 60 minutes, maybe that is reconnecting with all those people that went silver a long time ago, or that might be ready to restart and bring people along with them with the referrals and everything right now. So leverage that. That could be really huge for all the income possibilities this month. And Chris, my coach, said, yes, those times are correct for Y plexus. So maybe their email, I don't know. He just said it's correct. I can triple check with one more person, but he said it was correct. Okay. All right. If y'all need me, if you want to do a call where we can break down a little bit more, I am happy to do that anytime. But I'm proud of you guys, and I'm proud for you to hear Genevieve's fire and still keep coming on and still wanting that accountability, because I know if you're like me, I need it too. I need the fire. That's why I show up every single Tuesday to her call too, because I need to hear it. And so know that growth can be hard, but growth also leads to success. And you guys will have that as long as you keep doing the mundane, boring, as she says sometimes, winning day. Nothing else. Stick to your winning day and you will find success, you guys. Do not give up. Do not give up. It's only the 19th. Last month, we were on fire the last few days, on fire. So just remember that. It's always Magic Week. But don't let that wait till then. Start now. So, okay. I love you guys, and I'm so proud of you. Bye.
Thank you.
You are welcome.